10. Rayanna Brock. Over a 5-year period that started in 2018, a young woman from Fayette County, Kentucky named Rayanna Brock was arrested 11 different times, building up a collection of mugshots that earned her the nickname the Queen of Chaos. Some of her charges included stalking, harassment, shoplifting, wanton endangerment, evading police, criminal mischief, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, terrorism-related crimes, and several probation violations. The young woman's most recent charge was for theft of a firearm back in January 2023. Brock seemed surprisingly calm and even smiled for a few of the mugshots, which she later blamed on a Xanax addiction. While opening up about her rocky past in a 2023 interview with The Messenger, she revealed that she was raised by her grandparents, while her parents cycled in and out of being homeless and stuck in jail. As an adult, she was expelled from 3 separate colleges and struggled with severe drug addiction, despite the best efforts of her teachers to help her stay on the right path. As of 2023, the 23-year-old claims she's gotten her life back on track with a bit of help from her boyfriend and a strong support system of friends who've taken her in and given her a stable, safe environment to work on herself. She's revealed that she's now sober and has gotten in touch with her spiritual side to turn over a new leaf. 9. Denise and Catherine. In late 2020, police officers in Newark, New Jersey busted an illegal warehouse party full of at least 200 people while responding to a noise complaint from neighbors. According to the reports, law enforcement entered the party in the middle of the night and saw booze being sold from a makeshift bar while people also gambled illegally. The hosts, 26-year-old Denise and 28-year-old Catherine were allegedly unable to provide any paperwork showing that they had a license to sell alcohol. On top of the fact that the host didn't have a booze license, the bust happened during the height of the pandemic, when large gatherings were prohibited throughout the majority of the United States. As legitimate bars and other businesses were largely shut down or open in a very limited capacity, illegal establishments were quick to rise. The Tinazeris party was the second illegal bar that had been broken up in New Jersey in the span of a month, despite indoor gatherings in New Jersey being limited to just 10 people. Police confiscated 82 small bags of cocaine and almost $1,000 worth of cash at the scene. Denise and Catherine were each charged with 1 count of maintaining an illegal alcohol establishment, as well as illegal possession and sales of alcohol. 8. Anne Hudley. While responding to a car crash at 4 o'clock in the morning back in February 2016, police officers in the English town of Bournemouth instantly realized that something was off about the driver's behavior. 25-year-old Anne Hudley was apparently high as a kite, switching back and forth between happy and jovial one moment and angry and aggressive the next. Officers determined that Hudley had so much cocaine and cannabis cycling through her system that the levels were almost 8 times the country's limit for drug driving. Even more shocking, she had allegedly taken the drugs 2 days earlier, but was still flying high at the time of the accident. According to the authorities, Hudley admitted to her drug use during questioning. After determining at the scene of the crime that she was under the influence, police took her into custody and performed additional testing. Hudley eventually pleaded guilty to 3 drug driving charges. She was banned from driving for a 1.5 years and was handed a 2-year conditional discharge. 7. Brigette Mzka. Late one night in 2014, residents at a luxury housing complex in Port Orange, Florida called 911 and reported overhearing screaming, arguing, and loud banging coming from their neighbor's apartment. Officers arrived and found an upset elderly woman outside, gasping for breath. She also had multiple visible injuries to her face and wrists. The senior citizen told police that her granddaughter, 25-year-old Brigette Mzka, asked her for some money to get a hotel room. When she said she didn't have any, Mzka allegedly shoved her way into her grandmother's bedroom and attacked her. Mzka's husband, 26-year-old Alex Coldwell, was also accused of standing by and doing nothing to stop the assault. According to authorities, Mzka stole about $1,900 worth of jewelry. Authorities arrested the couple later that night on charges including burglary with assault, battery on a person 65 or older, false imprisonment, grand theft, intimidating a witness, and meth possession. But it was far from Mzka's first run-in with the law. Over a 3-year span leading up to that night, she was arrested about 11 times. Her past charges included drug possession, driving without a license, and other crimes. The young woman's mugshots revealed a visible decline resembling the effects of heavy meth use, including face sores, which are often caused by a person picking and scratching at their skin, as well as the drug's other toxic effects. It's unclear what Mzka is up to these days, but according to a LinkedIn profile featuring her name and photo, she's currently living in Michigan. She looks much healthier in the recent pictures than she did in her mugshots and seems to have gotten her life back on track. 6. Angela Lovins. A 27-year-old Clay County, Kentucky woman named Angela Lovins went viral back in 2019 after smiling ear to ear for her mugshot after getting arrested for public intoxication, resisting arrest, and fleeing from the police. According to local authorities, Lovins was wanted for an outstanding warrant. When deputies approached her in the parking lot of a discount store in Manchester at 1:30 in the morning, she started walking away quickly. She allegedly started running as deputies followed her close behind, and she was quickly apprehended. Lovins definitely wasn't smiling when she was arrested again 3 years later, in September 2022. This time, she was charged with criminal possession of a forged instrument, and while the details of the arrest are unclear, her more recent mugshot conveys the exact opposite emotion of the bubbly grin she showed in her previous booking photo. 5. Misty Loman. In 2019, a series of mugshots documenting a Kentucky woman's descent into methamphetamine addiction went viral online. But the photos only told one side of the bigger story, according to Misty Loman, who came forward and shared about her life in 2020 after getting sober. The Bowling Green resident already struggled with both drugs and alcohol, but her addictions eventually spiraled out of control after 3 of her children passed away. Around the same time, Misty was diagnosed with lupus, bone cancer, and a condition known as scleroderma, which is characterized by the hardening of the skin. And while her drug use affected her outward appearance, her declining health also played a major role. She lost her hair, her teeth started falling out, and she became gaunt from weight loss. Misty later told local news station WBKO that she didn't think she had that much longer left to live, so she decided she was going to get high until she died. She was homeless, plagued by depression, and was in and out of jail as she continued turning to drugs to cope with her issues. At the request of her surviving children, Misty luckily turned to God and found the strength to get sober. She's reportedly been sober for about 3 years, is no longer homeless, and feels optimistic about her future as she enjoys her newfound sense of normalcy and control. 4. Franchesca Swenson. In an incident that was both bizarre and horrifying, police in Provo, Utah received a call in 2020 about 2 people pushing a man's dead body into a motel parking lot while the corpse was in a wheeled office chair. According to detectives, the deceased man was in full rigor mortis by the time officers got to the scene, meaning he'd been dead for several hours at least. The man had been sharing a room with 21-year-old Franchesca Swenson, who was accused of taking photographs and videos of the victim taking his last breaths as he fatally overdosed on drugs. She made plenty of phone calls during that time, but none of them were to the emergency services. Swenson allegedly told police that she didn't regret not calling for help since she was at peace and because people die all the time. She was soon charged with desecrating a body, obstruction of justice, and reckless endangerment. The young woman had been arrested at least 7 other times over a short 2-year period. She first made headlines back in 2019 when she was accused of asking the police to smoke a bowl with her and kicking out her boyfriend's car windows after getting drunk on mouthwash. Just days later, she was arrested for violating the terms of her release from jail, which included drug possession. She's also been taken into custody for impaired driving, fake 911 calls, drunkenly fighting with the police, domestic violence assault, and driving without a proper license. 3. Danielle Druin. During the morning, one day in August 2022, police responded to a complaint about multiple cars and disorderly behavior going on outside the Peachtree City, Georgia home of 45-year-old Danielle Druin. According to law enforcement, Druin was drunk when she answered the door, and there was clearly a decent-sized house party going on inside. Druin allegedly tried saying that there was nothing happening inside the house. She denied that anyone was drinking alcohol and tried blaming the loud noises on a band practice she claimed was being held inside the home. When police asked to go inside and take a look, she closed and locked the door, keeping it shut for nearly an hour. In the meantime, partygoers reportedly fled out the back door. Officers caught several of them, including some who tried to drive away drunk. There were still as many as 30 people inside when Druin finally let the police enter the house. One individual was breathing but unresponsive and in need of medical attention. Luckily, the person was okay in the end. Authorities charged Druin with contributing to the delinquency of minors, felony cruelty to children, and violating the city's strict social hosting law. 2. Alyssa Zaski. In December 2018, a 27-year-old Ohio woman named Alyssa Zaski went viral after getting arrested for shoplifting and drug possession at a Walmart in Mahoning County. But it wasn't her charges that drew so much attention. It was actually her face, which was full of skeleton and cobweb tattoos. The New York Post described it as resembling a real-life Skeletor and a thing of nightmares. Zaski was arrested by authorities 3 times over a 6-month period. During one of the incidents, she and her ex-boyfriend were picked up in a police chase, later claiming that they ran away because Alyssa's ex needed to use the restroom. Speaking to Removery in 2023, the young woman explained that she got her tattoos back in 2018 while in a toxic relationship with her ex. At the time, she was trying to get into a gang her ex was a member of. She was also struggling with heavy drug addiction. Alyssa said her ex pushed the idea of getting the tattoos into her, only to later suspect that he was trying to make her as unattractive as possible to other men instead of trying to help her advance her criminal career. In October 2019, Alyssa started the painful process of laser tattoo removal, thanks to a non-profit organization called Ink Initiative, which helps give people a fresh start by erasing unwanted ink from their faces and bodies. She also went to rehab and successfully completed a drug court program. Alyssa said that she began the removal process because she wanted to feel normal again. She never got used to the way people seemed to stare at her in public, and she wanted to move on from her rocky past. Completely removing the ink will take about a dozen 20-minute sessions, and the process is excruciatingly painful. But Alyssa is happy to see the tattoos slowly disappearing as she looks forward to her future. She now works as a heavy machine operator and has credited her family and her new romantic partner with supporting her throughout her hard journey. 1. Tiffany Evans. A mugshot of a one-eyed woman from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina that went viral in December 2016 received horrified reactions and earned the criminal the nickname of the zombie prostitute. 31-year-old Tiffany Evans and 11 other suspects were accused of taking part in a prostitution ring after a bust was made by law enforcement. The arrests came as part of a bigger operation that saw 47 people taken into custody over a 3-month period. In addition to having only one eye, Evans had marks on her face that were consistent with chronic drug use. A few months after her initial arrest, she opened up about her past in an interview with a journalist named Emily Weaver. Evans moved to Myrtle Beach from North Carolina with no ID, birth certificate, or any other official documents. And she still hasn't been back to get those items since there are warrants out for her arrest there. The troubled woman first started prostituting in Myrtle Beach when she was desperate for a drug fix and had no money. She lost her eye 5 years before her infamous arrest during a fight with her ex-boyfriend while they were on a drug-fueled bender together. During the interview with Weaver, Evans revealed that she was homeless after 12 failed rehab stints. To get by, she panhandled and resorted to unsavory means. She was arrested dozens of times over the years, even before she lost her eye. Like most people whose addiction started off as recreational habits, Evans never meant for her life to spiral out of control. But it did. She's been arrested many times since she went viral, indicating a continued struggle to get her life back on track. Thanks for watching. Would you rather be stuck with the responsibility of convincing a drunk friend to go home, or with getting a very drunk and sleepy friend safely into their apartment at the end of the night? Let us know in the comments below.